Recognize the gentleman from Colorado, Mr. Lamborn.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you all for being here and what you do for our country. General Saltzman, I'd like to ask you about an issue, a problem that has come up in our launch of national security assets, and especially because it's indicative of a larger problem that we have. There is the certification that United Launch Alliance is doing for the Vulcan. They need a second successful flight to complete that certification process. And they have a payload built by Sierra Space, the Dream Chaser. So everything was on a good track, except the June date looks like it's going to have to slip 3 months to September because of an environmental assessment that has to be done according to the FAA for not the reentry site at Patrick, where it will land, Kennedy Space Center, but at Vandenberg, which is a backup place. Now, Vandenberg has been firing missiles for over 60 years. And it was a backup, I believe, for the space shuttle, or maybe it was the actual, I don't know which, but it's been a backup or a landing site as well as a launch site for all kinds of missiles over the years. And yet the FAA is calling for a new environmental impact statement. And you all were complaining, rightfully so, about how China is threatening to overtake us. Well, this is a self-imposed wound. You know, we have these, in what I believe are excessive regulations, in this case environmental regulations, that are slowing down a national security launch capability that's going to hurt our ability to get assets into space or slow them down. And first of all, I don't like these regulations being there in the first place, but if they're there, you've got to find a way to cut through the red tape and get the job done. So why is this even a problem, and why are we facing these kinds of delays when we look at China and they're just moving so fast and overtaking us?
Well, I appreciate the question and the concern. I share the concern with some of the interagency processes that we go through. I can't speak in detail about the FAA certification process on this. I'm happy to dig into it. We do this on a number of cases where we're trying to accelerate the licensing and certification of capabilities. I'm happy to get back to you with a more specific answer from the FAA. Would
either of the two of you like to comment on this?
We'd have to look into the details of what you described. I'm not familiar with it. That type of problem does come up, and we have to work our way through, as you said, the red tape when it does. You know, there are various organizations with jurisdictions that are affected by this. I was just at Boca Chica, where SpaceX has been waiting to work with the Interior Department on some of the environmental concerns associated with launching there, and it was a significant delay. And so these things are something we just have to work through under our existing set of regulations.
Well, please work on this, because it shouldn't be any mystery why China is overtaking us when we let government agencies snarl us in red tape. And sometimes you just have to take the bull by the horns and cut through it. You know, you take a sword and just cut through the red tape. So with that, Mr. Chairman, I yield back.